To this video on finding the HCF and LCM of more tricky numbers. Now we're going to use the little cheat I introduced in a previous video. If you didn't watch that video, I'm going to introduce it to you now anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write 120 and 150 as a fraction. So 120 over 150. And what I'm aiming to do is I'm aiming to simplify this fraction as much as possible. Now I can see straight away, because they both end in zeros, that I can divide both by 10. And then I get 12 over 15. And now I've spotted that both of these are now in the 3 times table. So I can divide by 3. And now I can get 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I get 4 over 5. Now what I want to do is I want to see how I go from the original to the fully simplified form. So I want to go from 150 to 5, and we can see, to me, that looks like I would divide it by 30. Not that 30, what am I thinking about? Divide by 15, it's 30, isn't it? It is divided by 30. How many 30s are there in 150? I don't know what I was thinking then. Yeah, it is 130. If you don't believe me, 5 times 3 is 15, then put the 0 on. So I divide by 30. Or you could do the relationship in this direction or this way, and that would be divided by 30 as well. It will always be the same. So therefore my HCF is 30. And then my LCM, I just multiply 2 of the diagonals together. So I'm going to choose 150 times by 4. Let's do that. So 150 times by 4. Now that should be easy to do in our minds. 150 times by 2 is 300. 300 times by 2 is 600. So the LCM is 600. Remember, if we chose the other direction, if we chose this diagonal, 5 times 120, that would also be 600. So it wouldn't make a difference to our answer. So that's the final answer. So just to recap, the HCF is 30, the LCM is 600. Let's move on to the second example then. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to form a fraction. So my fraction is going to be 160 over 200. We can see that both of these are in the 10 times table. So we divide by 10. And that leaves us with 16 over 20. Now I might spot now that these are in the 4 times table. So if I divide by 4, I will now get 4 over 5. And then I now need to see, what do I do to go from 200 to get to 5. So 200 divided by something gives me 5. And you should find out that that is 40. If you're not sure about what that is, the way we find it out is with the 200 divided by 5, which is what I was doing in my head then. 5 divided into 2 is 0. 5 into 20 is 4, and then a 0. And that would give us what this division is. So therefore, my HCF is 40, and my LCM is going to be 2 of the diagonals multiplied. So I'm going to choose 20 multiplied by 4. Notice it's always the original unsimplified fraction multiplied by the diagonal in the fully simplified one. I don't do 200 times by 16 because that will not work. It needs to be 200 times by the 4 for this to work. Now 200 times by 4 is 800. Because 2 times 4 is 8, and then the 2 zeros, so the LCM is 800. And a quick reminder, 5 times 160 would have also been 800. Have a go at this one, pause the video and have a try for yourself, and then I will go through the answer. So we can see there the HCF is 10 and the lowest common multiple is 1200. And of course, that lowest common multiple we could have got by doing 80 times by 15 as well. And that would have given us exactly the same answer. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful.